So good morning students. Our today's topic is Kirchhoff's laws and Wheatstone bridge principle. So these are two important topics. First one is Kirchhoff's laws. In order to solve some complicated problems in electricity, we have to apply this law. There are two laws given by Kirchhoff's. First law is known as junction law or junction rule. According to this law, sum total of number of currents meeting at a junction is always zero. Sum total of number of currents meeting at a junction is zero. This is the junction and here is the number of currents meeting at this junction. So here it simply means outgoing currents, incoming currents must be equal to outgoing current, that is I1 plus I2 plus I3 must be equal to I4 plus I5. Incoming current equals to outgoing. This implies I1 plus I2 plus I3 minus I4 minus I5 equals to 0. Here we have to give the convention, and according to the convention, I1 plus I2 plus I3 plus minus I4 plus minus I5 equals to 0. This is convention. Outgoing current is taken to be negative, incoming currents are taken to be positive. That is why I can write it as summation I equals to 0. Summation I equals to 0 is only possible if we give the convention. So therefore convention play a very important role and we have to understand the convention also. So at any junction, incoming current will be taken as positive and outgoing current will be taken as negative. Second law is loop law or voltage law. Loop law or voltage law. This law is again same. Suppose there is a circuit in which two resistances or three resistances or large number of resistances are joined along with the help of battery and cell. Let E1 be the EMF of the cell, E2 is the EMF of the cell. If I1 is the current due to cell of EMF E1 and I2 be the current due to the cell of EMF E2, then total current in resistance 3 will be I3, and I3 is therefore, according to the first rule, sum of these two incoming current. I1 is incoming, I2 is incoming, which are again meeting at the junction, and the sum of these two must be equal to I3. It means I3 here equals to I1 plus I2. So in this circuit we have to apply the Kirchhoff's second law. According to Kirchhoff's second law or loop law, the sum total of EMF or voltage, sum total of EMF or voltage for a closed loop will be 0. So here there is number of closed loop. First closed loop can be A, B, C, D. Second can be B, C, F, E or B, E, F, B, E, F, C, D. We have to close it. If we start from A, then we have to end with A also. So I am going to follow this loop in anti-clockwise direction. Here is again the convention. First convention is for EMF. If I start from the one cell from its positive terminal, then EMF is taken to be positive. If I reach back to the negative, then EMF is taken to be positive. Because to start with the positive means to end with the negative. Therefore, for this loop, A, B, C, D, A, for loop A, B, C, D, A, we have E1 taken to be positive, then here voltage will be I3 into R3, but here I am going in the direction of increasing potential. In the increasing potential, voltage is taken to be positive, but in decreasing potential, voltage is taken to be negative. But I am starting from the positive, therefore moving in decreasing potential, therefore it will be I3 R3 again for resistance R1 minus I1 R1 equals to 0. Therefore again from here, this is voltage, this is voltage, this is voltage, or I can write it as E1 plus I3 R3 plus minus I1 R1 equals to 0. That is again convention. If I move in the direction of current, sign is taken to be negative. Opposite to the direction of current, sign is taken to be positive. This is for the loop A, B, C, D, A. Again for loop E, B, C, F, E. For loop E, B, C, F, E. E, B, C, F, E. Now I am tracing it in the clockwise direction. Now again I am starting from the positive terminal of the battery, therefore E2 is taken to be positive. Again moving in the direction of decreasing potential, therefore minus I3 R3 again minus I2 R2 equals to 0. Again here if we write it as positive, then I have to give it the negative sign. Conventionally sum total of voltage is 0. Therefore this law suggests that for a closed loop sum total of voltage is 0. Or its second statement can be written as, from these two statements I can write from here, EMF equals to I1 R1 plus I3 R3. It means for a closed loop total voltage or total EMF equals to algebraic sum of the product of resistance and respective current. So there is two statements for this law. First one is for a closed loop sum total of voltage is 0, or total EMF equals to algebraic sum of the product of resistance and respective current. So these are the two laws given by Kirchhoff. Very important law. Suppose there is number of cells in the circuit, number of resistances in the circuit, then if there is one variable, one current I1, number of currents I1, I2, I3, we have to form the number of equations. If there is one variable, there can be one equation. If there is two variables, there will be two equations. If there is three variables, there will be three equations. So on. First we will form the equations and then solve the equation for these variables. And next one is Wheatstone-Bridge principle. According to Wheatstone-Bridge principle. According to this principle, if four resistances are joined in the form of a bridge and connected with the help of a galvanometer, like this, these are the four resistances P, Q, RS connected to external source of EMF with the help of a key. If key is pressed, then if galvanometer shows no deflection, after pressing the key, if galvanometer shows no deflection, then it means Ig equals to 0, means current across the galvanometer is 0. Then in this situation P by Q must be equals to R by S. So in this situation, when there is no current in the galvanometer, bridge is said to be in the balanced condition. So according to this law, if four resistances are arranged in the form of a bridge having galvanometer connected as shown by the diagram, then if after pressing the key galvanometer shows no deflection, then this bridge is in the balanced condition, and in this situation P by Q must be equals to R by S. For proving this Wheatstone bridge principle, we represent the current. If total current is I, let I1 be the current across resistance P, then across R it must be I minus I1. If Ig is the current across the galvanometer, then current left with the resistance Q will be I1 minus Ig. We are following the same law, that is incoming current must be equal to outgoing. Here current is dividing in two ways, then Ig current is passing across the galvanometer, then across the current Q current will be I1 minus Ig, and here I1 is coming, I minus I1 is coming, there will be current across this will be I minus I1 plus Ig. Ig, I minus I1, Ig incoming equals to outgoing, and if we add these two, sum will be I. So it is the distribution of current. While solving the sum problems, we have to find out the distribution of current across the circuit. Then according to, we have distributed the current according to junction rule. Incoming current equals to outgoing current, but we will prove this law by using the second law, that is loop law. Therefore, for this closed loop ABDA, for closed loop ABDA, we apply the Kirchhoff's law. Then I1 into P plus Ig into G minus I minus I1 into R equals to 0. So we have to understand how to apply the law. Here sum total of product of, there is no EMF, then only for this loop voltage across this resistance is I1P, voltage across the galvanometer is Ig into G, where G is the resistance of this galvanometer, and then for this loop direction is opposite, I minus I1 into R must be equal to 0. Sum total of voltage is 0. Similarly for this loop, I1 minus Ig for loop, this is BCDB, one closed loop, second closed loop. Again I1 minus Ig into Q minus I minus I1 plus Ig into S plus again here plus I minus I1 into R, Ig into G, like this. Ig into G must be equal to 0. Again, if galvanometer shows no deflection, thus this becomes 0. It means I1P, if Ig equals to 0, then I1P must be equals to I minus I1 into R, and from this equation Ig 0, I1Q, this 0, this is 0, this is 0, therefore I minus I1 into R. Dividing these two equations, we have P by Q equals to R by S. This is the proof of Wheatstone bridge principle. Important है, एग्जाम में आता है. State and prove Wheatstone bridge principle. So first we state this principle, then we distribute the current, then we apply the loop law. There is two loops, loop 1 and loop 2. We apply the loop law for these two closed loops and form two equations. Then condition, if there is no current across the galvanometer, then Ig is 0. In this situation, we put the Ig 0 in these two equations, and we left with I1P must be equal to I minus I1 into R, and this one from second, dividing these two, we have P by Q equals to R by S. So this Wheatstone bridge is useful to, if we can find out the unknown resistance by using this Wheatstone bridge principle. So practical application of Wheatstone bridge principle is slide wire bridge or meter bridge. Slide wire bridge or meter bridge. So दिस इज द प्रैक्टिकल एप्लीकेशन ऑफ व्हीटस्टोन ब्रिज। मींस प्रैक्टिकली हम लैब में कैसे प्रूव करेंगे, कैसे फाइंड आउट करेंगे नॉन रेजिस्टेंस। तो इसका हम एक प्रैक्टिकल एप्लीकेशन बनाया। एक वुडन बोर्ड पे इस तरह से एक वुडन बोर्ड बनाया, इस पे एक वायर लगा दी हमने 100 सेंटीमीटर की, 1 मीटर इन लेंथ। दैट इज व्हाई इट इज आल्सो कॉल्ड मीटर ब्रिज। स्लाइड वायर इज आल्सो कॉल्ड द मीटर ब्रिज because it consists of a constant or magnet or resistance wire of length 1 meter, parallel to which a meter scale is arranged, marked scale, and then these terminals are connected with the help of the copper strips, and a copper strip in the proper gap is given to connect a known resistance and a known resistance. Known resistance is always a resistance box. So this resistance box acts as the known resistance. This is a known resistance X, and we obtain the null point. Null point means there is no deflection in the galvanometer. So here there is another terminal where we connect the galvanometer, which is connected with the help of jockey. So we slide the jockey over this wire. That is why it is called slide wire. So gently we have to slide the jockey. If we place the jockey here, if deflection is right, then after putting the jockey here, deflection must be left. It means there is a null point in between these two. Null point is obtained by sliding the jockey slightly over the wire. If null point is obtained across the length L1, then we left with the length 100 minus L1. In this situation, X by RB, that is known resistance, must be equal to L1 by 100 minus L1. So L1 is known, so X can be L1 by 100 minus L1 into RB. So RB is known resistance. That is, for example, if we obtain the null point at 60 centimeter, then we can write X equals to 60 by 100 minus 40. If we remove the studs of resistance 10 ohm from this box, then we have into 10 and we are left with 15 ohm. Resultant resistance will be 15 ohm. So this is the rule. It is based upon the fact that resistance is directly proportional to length. Resistance is directly proportional to length. So these are the very important topic. First, Kirchhoff's law. Second, Wheatstone bridge, and third one is slide wire bridge, which is practical application of Wheatstone bridge. Last topic of this chapter with us is potentiometer. Potentiometer is a device which is used to measure very small potential difference with a larger accuracy. So potentiometer is a device which is used as to potential difference. We can measure the potential difference by using the voltmeter, but for the more accuracy we use the potentiometer. This is basic difference between the voltmeter and potentiometer. So it gives more accuracy because its list count can be reduced. It is again consists of the wooden board on which a constant or magnet wire is bound like this in the form of some folds. It is about practically we use in the lab is 400 centimeter, 100 centimeter, 100, 100, 100. Total of 400 centimeter wire is used, having two terminals. With the help of these terminals, we connect the battery. Battery is connected to the emitter. Emitter is then connected to the rheostat, and rheostat is connected to terminal B. So this is simple picture of potentiometer. Potentiometer is based upon the fact simply we know V equals to IR according to Ohm's law. So sometimes question is asked in the examination like this, but explain the principle and construction of potentiometer. This is very simple case. It's a potentiometer to a device which is used to measure the potential difference, but its principle. So then principle it is from the Ohm's law. V equals to IR, or I equals to R equals to rho times L by E. Here area of the cross section of the wire is same because wire is fixed on this board having the equal same constant area of cross section, resistivity constant. by using this rheostat, we make the current constant. If all three things remains constant, then I is proportional to L. V is proportional to L. This becomes the principle of potentiometer. Potential drop across the cross section of the wire is directly proportional to the length of that portion. Potential drop means, suppose I put it is again connected with the help of jockey we use in application. We obtain a null point. If we place the jockey here, if deflection in the galvanometer is right, then on the another it must be on left side, then it is correct. If deflection is same, then it means there is some mistake, then we can check the circuit, there is some loose connections, or the battery which is connected having smaller potential than the device that we are measuring, because we used to measure the potential difference of some cell, or we used to find it the internal resistance of a cell. If the cell connected is having the greater EMF than this battery, then deflection will be one-sided. So we have to check at one end, and at the another end deflection in the galvanometer must be opposite. इस अगर हम यहाँ पे रखेंगे तो अगर डिफ्लेक्शन इधर है तो इधर रखने पे डिफ्लेक्शन दूसरी साइड जाना चाहिए, क्योंकि अब इसकी जो एप्लीकेशन है प्रिंसिपल तो इसका बिल्कुल सिंपल है. इट इज फ्रॉम द ओम्स लॉ दैट V इक्वल्स टू IR, रेजिस्टेंस इज ρ टाइम्स L by A. Then if we all these factors remain same, then V is proportional to L. So there is two important application of this potentiometer. First one is to compare the EMF of the cell, as it is a device which is used to measure the potential difference. So if we arrange the two cells here and with the help of two-way key, here a galvanometer is placed and with the help of jockey it is connected. If we obtain the potential drop means deflection. If deflection here is right, then here must be left. In between two terminals there exists a null point. Null point means drop of potential. We measure the length of that portion, then V is proportional to L. So first we press this key, then this cell come into the circuit and null point is obtained. If E1 is proportional to L1, then this key is removed and put here. Then E2 is again proportional to L2. Dividing these two, E1 by E2 must be L1 by L2. So in this way we can compare the EMF of the two cells. Similarly, we can find out the internal resistance of the two cells by using this potentiometer in the similar manner. First, if this cell is connected across this circuit, then if obtain the null point, then E must be proportional to L1. Now, because